House Democrats have stood on the side of the American people by strongly opposing this partisan Republican spending bill that hurts families, seniors, and veterans. The House Republican spending bill is an attack on everyday Americans. It will cut health care, cut veterans benefits, and cut nutritional assistance to children and families. It is unacceptable. And that is why there was a strong showing of opposition amongst House Democrats. We stand ready, willing, and able to negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement that meets the needs of the American people in terms of their economic well-being, health, and safety. The partisan Republican spending bill will hurt everyday Americans, and House Democrats will never be complicit in their reckless scheme. Catherine Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. The Republican majority just voted to hand a blank check to Elon Musk and his billionaire and their other billionaire donors with a payment interest for Elon's $277 million contribution. They also voted in the four corners of this bill to evict families from their homes, 32,000, kick veterans off their cancer treatments, cut health care and Alzheimer's research, and take food away from hungry families. And they aren't hiding this anymore. The plot is clear. So they can cut billionaires' taxes and funnel corrupt contracts to SpaceX. That's the agenda. That's the plan. So when Republicans use this bill, this vehicle, to cut Social Security, to cut Medicaid, to cut the VA, and hand the cash to the rich, the American people are going to know who to blame. 2/3 of Trump voters oppose these tax cuts paid for by their hard-earned dollars. No wonder Republicans are canceling their town halls. No wonder they are running away from their own constituents. They know what the American people know. Nobody voted for this. Turn it over to the chair of our caucus, Pete Aguilar.
Thank you, Whip Clark. The economy is heading toward a recession. The stock market is tanking, and people's costs keep going up. Today's partisan funding legislation does nothing to lower the costs or living expenses for everyday Americans. Instead, it gives House Republicans permission to enact their plan to cut Medicaid, to give tax cuts to billionaires. We're not going to sign a blank check to the chaos and corruption coming out of the White House. House Democrats remain willing and able to work on a bipartisan funding agreement that protects Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. We need reasonable Republicans to work with us to put the American people first. So far, that spirit of cooperation has been hard to come by. With this group, House Republicans seem only focused on rewarding their billionaire donors and the same corporations that have price gouged the American people. We need the extreme partisanship to end if we're going to be able to lower costs and stabilize the economy. Question.
We've just learned in the last few minutes here, actually, I just want to get your reaction to this, that nearly half of the Department of Education personnel may be laid off as soon as this evening. Just your response to the Trump administration eliminating half of the education.
Well, Donald Trump, his administration, and extreme MAGA Republicans in the House are undermining everything that matters to the American people, including trying to take a chainsaw to Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and public education all across America. It's unacceptable, it's unconscionable, it's un-American, and it is not what the voters thought they were getting with the Trump presidency.
This funding bill has gone over to the Senate. Do you want Senate Democrats to filibuster this legislation?
It's my understanding that Senate Democrats are meeting as a caucus tomorrow. The strong House Democratic vote in opposition to this reckless Republican spending bill speaks for itself. Catherine? Or Pete?
I think Catherine Clark and the whip team giving members the information they need. We put up a strong vote in opposition of this bill because this hurts families. I wouldn't expect senators to vote for this. This is a bad bill. We did not negotiate this bill. They did not negotiate this bill. They should vote no. In the interest of our national security, in the interest of American families, they need to vote no and beat back this bill. This is not a bill that any of us, I'm not aware that they were at the negotiating table with Republicans. This is a Republican partisan bill that hurts American families. Our expectation is that they would vote no.
I just add to that, that this is one of these votes that shows whose side are you on? Are you fighting for the folks at home? Are you fighting for things like public schools, for our Veterans Administration, all the things they're cutting? Are you fighting so that children can continue to rely on cancer research? Are you fighting for the fact that the cost of eggs is skyrocketing and this bill cuts the very inspectors who are working to contain avian flu? So I don't know why a Democrat would look at this and decide they want to be on that side of the ledger. I think we as House Democrats have sent a very strong message. We stand with the American people. And whether you voted for Donald Trump or you didn't, this is a betrayal. If you voted for him and you put your trust in him, he was going to shake things up, make things more efficient on your behalf. Every single day, he is thumbing his nose at you and telling the American people that he just doesn't care. That Elon Musk is in charge, taking a chainsaw to the fundamentals of families' budgets and their ability to get ahead. You don't go after people's health care. You don't go after research. You don't go after our public schools and our veterans and say there's anything else here except a plot to cut spending in order to give it to the wealthiest people. So I expect we're going to see a no vote out of the US Senate.
Mr. Jeffries, we just heard from Jared Golden, who tweeted that he just voted yes, a member of your caucus, because he wanted to avert a government shutdown. John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, another Democrat, told us earlier today, I refuse to burn the village down with the claim to save it. Does that undermine Democrats' message that this is a really bad bill?
How many Democrats voted in opposition to this bill?
Oh, sorry. Almost everyone except for one.
Okay, so that speaks for itself. The reality of what's in front of us is a partisan Republican bill that will gut spending on healthcare, hurt veterans, as well as children, families, and seniors all across America. That is why there was strong House Democratic opposition. The alternative is not a Republican inspired shutdown. The alternative is a bill that Rosa DeLauro and Patty Murray introduced, which is a 4-week continuing resolution that will both keep the government open and allow for negotiations to continue. There were bipartisan negotiations that were ongoing. to reach an agreement consistent with the Bipartisan Fiscal Responsibility Act. And Donald Trump pulled the plug on those negotiations because he wanted to jam a far-right extremist bill down the throats of the American people. House Democrats reject that because we're standing on the side of the American people.
As this Congress was starting, because of the tight margin in the House, there was plenty of discussion about how Republicans were going to be Democrats to advance these sorts of things, that there would be coalition breakdown on the Republican side, that this would be a leverage point for you all. Are you, it's kind of a stupid question, but are you surprised by the fact that the Republicans have stuck together on the reconciliation package on this in the way that they have in the House?
It's not surprising to me that House Republicans have walked the plank because of their fealty to Donald Trump. Republicans in this town no longer work for the American people. They're not even pretending. That is why they've set in motion the largest possible cut to Medicaid in American history. They're prepared to hurt their own constituents as part of a scheme to enact massive tax cuts for their billionaire donors, the wealthy, the well-off, and well-connected corporations. That's what this scheme is all about. And so it should not surprise anyone that House Republicans continue to bend the knee to Donald Trump and their billionaire puppet master, Elon Musk. Should not surprise anyone. But the American people will have an opportunity to speak. And when they do next November, it will not be pretty for the MAGA extremists. Catherine, Pete? Thank you, everyone.